Hello guys, my name is Lars Stender. I'm a writer from Denmark who specializes in science fiction and fantasy stories. Today I'm here to read from my fantasy novel Mandigo and the Hellhounds. And if you want to know more about me and my work, please find me on Facebook. Mandigo and the Hellhounds, Chapter 57. Once Mandigo's brain had registered what was happening, he suddenly understood, with a sickening clarity, what the three-eyed demon down in the dungeon had meant when it said that our cosmic conjunction would enable the Lord of Shadows to conquer the world. The solar eclipse would, for a brief period of time, cast a shadow across the world with Bloodstone at its center. Death and terror and solar eclipses. Well, I'd be damned, Mortar could be heard saying right behind Mandigo. Yeah, follow Mandigo up to the inner courtyard. Caspar and Jasper came running a few steps behind him. They too stopped and looked up the sky when they reached Mandigo. Oh no! A solar eclipse, Jasper said. Whoa! That's neat, Caspar blurted. At any other time it would have been neat, Mandigo said gloomily, but not today. This solar eclipse is something Montero and the Lord of Shadows have been waiting for all along. It will make it possible for them to open the portal between the dark dimension and our world. We've got to stop them, and fast. Yes, but how? Caspar asked. Follow me, Mandigo said, and ran the last part of the way to the blacksmith's forge. He got on his knees and started rummaging in the pile of rubbish behind the smithy. Jasper, Caspar, and Mortar kept in the background, and especially made sure to keep a distance from Gorgash, who stared at him with an inscrutable gaze with inhuman eyes. What are you looking for, Caspar? Mandigo and sent a nervous glance at Gorgas. This, Mandigo said as he got to his feet, carrying a great bundle in his arms. It was much longer than it was wide. He threw it on the ground between himself and the others and started frantically to unroll it. It consisted of an old piece of skin which was torn and moth-eaten in several places. But that meant nothing. It was the contents that were important, and what was even more important, it was undamaged. Mandigo smiled triumphantly when it emerged, gleaming and shining. His father's sword, steel shine. This sword had been lying there, concealed, ever since Mandigo had brought it up from the crypt. He was certain that Montero would never have let him keep it, had he known about it. But now it was perhaps the only thing that could save the Elf Queen, Lady Arundel, and prevent the Lord of Shadows from devouring this world. Mandigo straightened up with a firm grip on the sword. He looked over at Gorgash, and for a brief moment their eyes met. Mandigo nodded to him respectfully, thanking him for allowing him to keep the sword there for so long. The glowering Dracoid and blacksmiths acknowledged the gesture. Mandigo then turned to the forge and reached his hand out towards Caspar. I need more cassia dust, Caspar. Caspar gave him some, and Mandigo threw it on the forge's smouldering pieces of coal, while at the same time concentrating on allowing his gift to flow through him. Greenish smoke rose from the forge for a brief moment, and Mandigo swept his hand across it as he, in Ferrol, once again asked the smoke spirits to show him what was going on outside the fortress. The images that came up made him taste his own bile. The enemy army was dissolving because of the Shrollock attack. The ferocious, dinosaur-like birds attacked with the fiercest contempt of anything that moved. Animals and people were flayed alive wherever they happened to be standing or walking. Even armored knights were unsafe. Every knight was attacked by dozens of Shrolloks who would weigh him down with their numbers, whereupon they'd peck, tear, and scratch the knight's armor until the buckles would come undone, allowing the Shrolloks to tear the individual armor pieces from one another so they could get to the knight's flesh and blood. A familiar face briefly emerged in the swarm of soldiers. Baron Nicholas of Westerfields. Even the old, gout-stricken Baron from Mandigo's hometown had taken up arms in an attempt to get rid of the monster Montero. The Baron rode upon a golden-brown grey horse and was, unfortunately, an easy and visible prey for the Shrolloks. The last image Mandigo had of the old Baron was when a huge flock of the winged beasts zoomed in on the man and his poor horse and threw them to the ground. Mandigo ground his teeth in despair and frustration. He knew that if he didn't do something, the Battle of Bloodstone would be over before it had really begun. The Shrolloks would quickly defeat the enemy army, and Mortero would be stronger than ever and have plenty of time to open the portal to the Lord of Shadows dimension. On the other hand, it was also important that Mandigo set Lady Arundel free as quickly as possible, since she was the only one who had enough power to take on Mortero and the Lord of Shadows. As Mandigo stood considering which task was more urgent, the decision was taken from him all at once. From somewhere northwest of Bloodstone, a penetrating wolf howl could be heard. It practically drowned in all the other noise coming from the screaming and bawling Shrolloks. But Mandigo and his friends heard it and pricked up their ears. Gorgas heard it too. The limping blacksmith turned slowly around towards the place where the wolf howl had come from and grunted in surprise. Another howl followed, and another, until the whole valley echoed with hundreds and thousands of wolf howls. And they weren't alone. From the sky above could be heard the screams of defiant birds of prey, the ill-tempered chirping of small birds, the hoarse screams of crows, and the blaring laughter of magpies as the air around turned alive with feathery creatures. Like one big organism, the numerous birds dashed in towards Bloodstone and pounced on the Shrolloks. At the same time, an avalanche of foaming, hungry, and revenge-seeking wolves came tumbling down from the mountain slopes surrounding Bloodstone, aiming in the direction of the tunnel leading to the fortress' outer gates. The tunnel was guarded by a whole company of Dracoids, which could easily have held back a normal army in a tunnel. But right now they were being attacked by an enemy they had never taken into consideration. The attack by the wolves took the guards completely by surprise, and confusion and fear spread like lightning amongst the otherwise densely packed ranks. Additionally, it became quickly apparent that the wolves were merely stormtroops, an army that neither the Dracoids nor any of Mortero's wizards and witches had ever seen before. The wolves were followed by a whole battalion of bears, wolverines, foxes, weasels, and martens. And they, in turn, were followed by huge stags, moose, and reindeer that speared the Dracoids on their antlers and trampled them underfoot with their hoofs. There were soon no more Dracoids in the tunnel, and the animals spread along the curtain wall of the Bloodstone and attacked the outer gate. The attack came so fast and fiercely that the guards at the gatehouse didn't get a chance to raise the drawbridge in time. Only the portcullis behind the drawbridge was down. But weasels, martens, wolverines, foxes, mice, and rats could easily slip through the trellis bars and pounce on the fortress guards. At the same time, reinforcements emerged from the form of swarms of bees and wasps out of the blue. The insects attacked both the Dracoids and the wizards on the curtain wall. The Dracoids who operated the drawbridge had to give up their attempt at raising it when a large number of angry wasps managed to penetrate their armor and started stinging them everywhere. As a result, the drawbridge ended up dropping down with a great bang that echoed in all of Bloodstone. In the meantime, the enemy army had moved into the tunnel through the mountain at the heels of the animals. As soon as they saw that the drawbridge was down and the Dracoids preoccupied with the wild animals, they wasted no time launching their own attack. "Magdan!" Mandigo cried with a crooked smile when he realized what was happening. "So he came after all!" "Who's Magdan?" Jasper asked. Magdan is a forest king and the spirit of nature. Mortero's black magic has done violence to the natural order of things, and it's turning against him. Come on, this is our chance. Mandigo started running back towards the keep, followed by his three friends. As they were running, Mandigo glanced up at the sky. It was as though the sun's light had turned brighter somehow, as the moon passed before it. Yet still it was very clear that something was about to happen. A strange chill spread through the air. I'll go in, Mandigo said, and stopped briefly by the entrance to the keep. If Mortero or any of the others appear, you will have to try to delay them. I think it might be too late for that, Jasper said, pointing towards the gate between the inn and the outer courtyard, where Mortero could be seen marching towards them, followed by a group of Dracoids. Mortero caught sight of Mandigo and his friends at the next moment and stopped abruptly. An expression of disbelief and vexation spread across his face. "Mandigo!" he called out angrily as he lifted one of his fists as though to try to send a curse towards him. But Mandigo had already run into the keep. End of chapter.
Okay, I didn't see that coming. Well done, well done. So we go animal now.
All animalistic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where are the Marie here now?
Well, they didn't move. Well, they're in the second column.
Oh, okay.
They fly a bit slowly. Yeah.
Oh, we also get the turtles?
Yes!
And snails.
They come in for the mopping up operation.
Yeah, it's for the later thing when it's called for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go to the dinner place.
Go to it.